All right, Alex, what's going on, man? I appreciate you taking the time to come on.
No worries, AJ. Good to be on, mate. Finally, I know we've been trying to get it done for a while, haven't we?
Yeah, no, I appreciate you honestly taking the time. You really don't have to do this. But ultimately, this is I think, like 28th or 29th episode in a series of episodes where we're trying to figure out what's the difference, right? So, maybe tell the viewers at home who aren't familiar with the YouTube channel, Instagram extraordinaire of who you are, a little bit of your background, backstory, and what you got going on over there, man.
Yeah, so now I am caddy on PGA Tour for Paul Waring. I was before caddying for Paul. Like me and Paul grew up together playing. I mean, we played since we were kids, but before that, I was trying to play myself. So I did like a YouTube series. I guess I did it for maybe 3 years, I suppose.
You did
Still,
for a while.
I think so. Yeah, I still say I do it, but I just haven't done a video for ages. I still intend to put more out, but just figuring out because my sort of angle was me trying to play golf, whereas I'm not trying to play golf anymore professionally. So I need to figure out an angle with it. But yeah, I played full time for too long, mate. Too long, if I'm honest. But I must have played full time for 15 years, I suppose. And then Paul asked me to get on the bag for 3 weeks, and then I stayed on the bag for this is fifth season now. So yeah, I did slightly better than 3 weeks. So still out here.
It's been 5 seasons since you've made that change.
This is fifth season. Yeah, this is fifth
That's
season.
nuts.
We were kind of on and off like, at the start because it was COVID, so Paul didn't play that much. So we did like I would say sort of 50% seasons. But yeah, since I've been on the bag now, this is my fifth season and all.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I think that's awesome. I can't believe it's been 5 years. I remember when, had posted that and that you were going over, so that's pretty crazy. So, maybe obviously you're in a hotel room right now. Maybe talk us through kind of what the week looks like, prep for you whenever you guys show up to a golf course. What all do you have to do versus what does, Paul personally do? Everybody does it a little differently, but, what does it look like when you rock up on a Monday or Tuesday?
Me and Paul do it a little bit different because I mean, mate, we spend so much time together. It's ridiculous. Like, honestly, his wife, my fiance, they talk to each other and be like, "What are you two doing?" Like, we get home. Normally, we'd get home on a Sunday night, Monday morning when we were in Europe, and we'd go for a coffee Monday. I'm sure they thought something's going on with us. It's we spend way too much time together. So normally, prep wise, we'll do a lot of it together. Most of it will be together. Actually, we'll arrive depending if it's a run of events or if it's our first one in a run of events, we'll normally travel on the Monday, have a full day at it Tuesday. We'll play early on the Tuesday, just for make practice rounds. You know what they're like yourself in any tournament golf. Practice rounds can just be so slow. Sometimes, you're looking at 5.5 hours for a practice round. So normally we'll get out early, get 9 holes done, do a bit of work, do a bit of short game stuff, a bit of putting. 9 holes. Paul will just play. I'll be looking at lines off tees, greens, making all my notes on the greens, everything like that. Just getting as much prep on course as you can. And then we'll normally walk 9. And in all fairness, I think we probably get more done when we walk 9 holes. I think you see more. You're not looking for like where you've hit the shots, trying to figure out what shot to hit from where you've hit a driver that you might not hit in a tournament. It's more so when you're walking. I guess you can go a bit more like this is the area we want to be in, this is where we want to be playing from, rather than looking at a shot that's you've hit it in the right rough, which isn't your intention in a tournament. So it's prep wise, that's always the Tuesday, and then Wednesday's a pro-am day, so it depends if you're playing pro-am. PGA Tour are normally just 9 holes, so one pro will play the first 9 with the amateurs, and another pro will play the second 9 with the same amateurs. They'll swap round. So it depends if you're playing in the pro-am, you'll do that. If not, our Wednesdays are just like prep, but more golf stuff. And we're at the stage where Paul's been on tour this is his like 18th season, I think, on tour. So for him, it's more just maintenance. It's practice sessions really on a Wednesday rather than proper preparation for a tournament. I would say it's more doing shot challenges, putting challenges, short game challenges, as opposed to trying to find something. I don't think I've ever had a tournament where Paul's been on a range having to try to find something pre-tournament. It's always just performance related is our preparation really more than anything else.
Yeah, I mean, you're never really gonna find that much the day before golf. I've almost lost my hammer there. My light was going. You're never really gonna find that much the day before a golf tournament. Are you really? Like, I mean, let's be honest. Like, maybe you can and find some magical feel, but like, how much are you
Honestly,
really doing in terms of changing a golf swing a day before a golf tournament? Like,
honestly, I wish I knew this, AJ, because when I was playing, I would panic practice. Like I was the
I
worst for
know, that's
panic practicing, you know what I mean? I'd
same.
be like, right, I need to find something today. I'd be like on the practice ground going, that's not it. Well, I'll just try this. Oh, that's a good shot. I'll stick with that. One bad one with it, it's like, well, that doesn't work. I need to do something else. But yeah, it's difficult. It's difficult to, I think, I mean, it all depends on where you're at with your game. If you are working on something specifically and working towards something, I don't think you'd ever find something new. It's more just, and these players kind of know their feels, so they'll work towards a certain feel that they're after, and sometimes they get out of that and it'll just be trying to sort of reintegrate that into the swing rather than trying to find a new magic pill because, mate, you know what it's like. I still think, I'm not going to say it doesn't exist because I'm still waiting for it, but it's elusive. It's very, very difficult to find. So, yeah, I don't think you'll see many people like really searching for it. And in all fairness, the ones that are searching for that, generally, them have the best week. You
Yeah. No, I mean, I've definitely fallen victim to it. It's not like I haven't, and certainly do at times. But it's an interesting conversation with you, especially because I feel like we're a little bit similar in this way. Like, I feel like you have quite a nice golf swing. I feel like I have quite a nice golf swing, and I feel like sometimes I just don't get the most out of it. Is there anything that you've learned in your time with Paul that that you've maybe relayed to your game or that you see that he does very well to get the most out of his game? Because it's like, you've got a great golf swing. And so I'm kind of curious, maybe if there's any bits and bobs that you've translated to your game.
It's funny there. It's funny what you've just said. Talking about golf swing, and that's like a big fault of mine. And probably I don't know if you see it in yourself, but playing tournament golf, I play golf swing too much. I have way too much. Whenever I go out and play, I'm playing golf swing. I'm trying to make good golf swings all the time rather than hit good golf shots.
That's why I'm asking this question. Yeah.
So I'm very much more like it's mad because I know that doesn't work. Like as a caddy, when you're out, I think when you're outside, when you're looking from the outside, you're not the person doing it. You can see what's best, but in yourself, you're like, no, I want to make a good golf swing. I know this will make me strike it good or this hit a good shot, but over the course of 18 holes, which is a lot of golf, you're not gonna hit that many good golf shots trying to play golf swing all the time. We can all hit good golf shots. It's certainly when you're at a decent standard, you know how to hit good golf shots. It's allowing yourself to just play with what you've got on the day. You're good enough to play with what you've got. If you turn up one day and you're hitting a fade or you feel like you're not quite releasing the club, just play with that. Just start it left and hit a fade and play with it rather than, this is my fault, I'd try and search for something to get my ball flight that I wanted to see back, and I might find it on like the 12th when I'm already 4 over par and the tournament's already gone. It's funny, like from Paul's point of view, he'll be on the range and he might say, not quite feeling that today. I think we're gonna have to play with a fade today because he's just not hitting his normal ball flight. And if that's me, if that was me playing, I'd be panicking, going, I don't know how to hit the golf ball. Like I've gone, I don't know what to do. I don't know what shot I'm going to hit. Whereas Paul's like, yeah, we're just going to play with a fade today. And he can still go out and shoot 3, 4, 5 under par with essentially what isn't his best ball striking day or his best golf swing day, but you can still play golf.
So do you think with him, it's what feels like the same movement pattern? And it's coming off like a fade, and it's just,
yeah,
like it is, like he's not trying to fade it. It is fading. And it's like, all right, I've got a fade.
We're talking the smallest margins, aren't you? You might have a tiny bit of tightness in your left shoulder or your right leg or something. You might have slept funny on your neck. Anything can make the smallest margins. Like the game is not, it's cliche, isn't it? But the game's not a game of perfect, and I don't think you ever have the same swing. The fundamentals will be there, but you never have the exact same swing on any given day. It's just a part of the game. You've got to accept that it changes. small changes at the top level, of course, but you've got to accept that days are different. You get out of bed the wrong side, and you're just going to play with whatever you're given on that day. I say all this, mate. I say it, and I've been saying it for years, and then I'll go out and play, and I know full well next time I go out and play, I'm going to be like, right, I need to find it on the range. I definitely need to find it on the range before I go out. And I know that's what'll happen, but that's just me. I'm an idiot. But there we go.
So maybe that's the difference.
Yeah, maybe,
No, we're done.
maybe,
That's the difference.
maybe just don't be an idiot and you'll be fine.
Well, it's just so funny. Like I could always really relate to your videos because I still do it. I don't do it as bad, but I just did it this past tournament. And I had moments this season where I was hitting this like mingy pull hook shot, and I just hit it the whole way around, and I shot under par. And then this past tournament, I'm like, no, I need to be hitting my push draw, and I've hit this thing freaking everywhere, and it's like, it's really interesting and timely, at least for me, that you're kind of bringing that up again because I go through waves of like just being like, no, I gotta have my ball flight. Like my ball flight's a push draw.
Yeah,
Like I've gotta have it.
yeah, yeah. It's whatever you've got. It's whatever you've got on the day. And don't get me wrong. There's obviously things sometimes there's going to be stuff that needs addressing. If a certain move in your golf swing is causing destructive shots, then obviously that needs working on. But once you feel like you've got the sort of your window is fairly narrow, I feel like you can work sort of right side, left side a little bit more. So rather than if you're stood on there and you've got like a snap hook in your golf swing, it's difficult to play, of course. You know what I mean? It's hard to stand there and hit a golf shot. But you've got to have a swing that you can go, right, I'm struggling today. I'm not feeling it. I'm just going to hit this. It might be a squeezy cut. It might be a low draw. It's whatever suits. But for me, it's a squeezy cut. But the reason why I don't like playing that is because it doesn't go as far and it hurts my ego. So I don't do that. Obviously, it's better. Obviously, it's better for my ego shooting 97 than it is hitting it short. Clear.
Yeah, what'd you shoot, Al? Yeah, I shot 97, but I was smashing it.
Hit it miles. Great stuff. I mean, that's it.
You play with a guy, you're hitting it, who's hitting it 40 yards shorter, and he's turned in a 68, and he's playing on the weekend,
Yeah,
and you're not. It's like, oh,
exactly.
like, great.
Exactly. I've seen it all the time. Certainly when I was playing on Europro, a lot of the lads are just efficient. I was searching for a lot of the perfect golf shots all the time. Yeah, it's very difficult to play that.
So I just played this past weekend with a guy who had, I think, 180 starts on Corn Ferry Tour, had a couple PGA Tour starts, and then another guy who had a couple PGA Tour starts, and I was paired with him in the event. And the biggest thing I noticed is how tidy they were. Like, it's just like there's no slop in the game. Where do you think that comes from? Like, you can probably relate to it yourself. Like, Paul probably doesn't have, maybe he does have slop in his game, but I kind of doubt it. Maybe day to day if he misses a cut. But, like, they just have, they're just tidy. Like, they miss it in the right spot. They don't make dumb mistakes. Like, where do you think that comes from? Because I've been, like, thinking about this so much where, if you hear, like, the noise of me hitting a ball, them hitting a ball, trajectories, flights, like, it's all very similar. And we added up, and they beat me by, like, 7 shots over 2 days. And it's like, what is going on? Like, it's
Yeah,
really interesting.
it's a culmination, isn't it? It's so much. I mean, there's a lot of mental. I know you did an episode with Lee Crumble, and a lot of that stuff is so applicable. That side of it is massive because, and it's nothing new. It's stuff that you know, but it's how you apply it on a golf course. And it's like the addition of that and working on certain areas of your game to make them good. Like, you don't need to be exceptional at everything. That's the one thing. You do not need to be exceptional at everything. And that was something I did, was get obsessed with certain areas to just like devote all my time to getting better with driving or just getting better at pitch. If you're 7 out of 10 at everything, it's not going to look overly special. It's not going to be massively impressive, but your golf scores are going to be impressive by the end of the day because you're not giving shots away. You're not doing anything. Like you said, you're not snap hooking one out of bounds. You're not doing anything crazy. It's going to make you make 7s and 8s. You might make the odd bogey here and there, but you're going to be, on the whole, not putting yourself under any massive stress, which is a big thing over a tournament. because I think there's only so much of that you can do if you're struggling to make pars. That sort of catches up with you. I've thought about this a lot on the other end of the scale with Scotty Scheffler. Like, why is he so unbelievably good? What is it that makes him that good? And I think he knows his ball flight really, obviously better than anyone, and he never, very, very rarely misses it in the wrong spot. So he knows exactly where he's trying to hit it. He's obviously so tight with his dispersion anyway, but he very, very rarely misses it in a spot where he'll always get it in a spot where you can miss and get it up and down. That's something, again, where we go back to talking about hitting the perfect golf shot. Fine if you pull it off, but if you don't, are you going to be in trouble? And that's going to cost you a bogey or a double from something that you go, you might say yourself, I've not played bad there and I've shot a 78 or whatever it might be. Yeah. You've not played bad, but actually your decision making hasn't been great, and you've come off and you've shot 78 and you could have played much worse, but with good decision, you could come off and shoot level par or under par or whatever it might be. It's so, like I say, the margins are so fine, but the margins are so big over the course of 2, 3, and 4 rounds. It's massive. I always said that even when I was playing a lot, and me and Paul would play a lot together, and on a random day I could beat him. But over the course of if it was a 4-day tournament we had together, no chance. I'd have no chance. It's just because it's stringing that together and making good decisions all the time and not having those holes that are going to cost you your massive scores. The mentality of that is huge, and not just absolutely losing the plot, which again is something that I had to battle with quite a lot.
So for you to sit on that topic, you versus Paul over say 4 rounds, like, do you think it's monumental, like, technical differences in your golf game, or is it just that he just is managing it so much better? Like, do you think?
I mean, obviously, there's fewer bad shots. There's much fewer bad shots. It's drives or no and bad drives. There's the odd drive that might be wide from these guys, but it's very rare. It's like it's not that often that it's miles offline, so it doesn't cost. It might cost bogey, of course, but it doesn't often cost more than that. And
it's not costing double or more.
No, it's not catastrophic. It's those windows that they're able to hit the ball in, and I think that's the same thing going back to knowing the ball flight. The one thing a lot of players, 99% of the players, have a shot where the ball is moving one way or the other. It's very rarely is it really neutral. You don't really see that very often, because a neutral ball flight obviously brings in both sides of play. And these lads are really one side of play, really is all that they're looking at. And if they miss it, it'll always be sort of one side down the right or down the left, because they're trying to hit a certain shot. I think that's probably the difference in the top level, and the other level is, in sort of, whether it's amateur level or high amateur level, is both sides are kind of in play, and that goes right the way through the game. And that just adds up. It just adds up over time, over the course of 1, 2, 3, 4 rounds. And that's how you say, you had ended 2 rounds and you're 7 shots behind the guys you're playing with, and you don't feel like you played all that different.
Yeah.
But it adds up. It adds up. 1 shot every 6 holes is massive. 3 shots around. It ends up being a big gap,
Yeah, massive. Yeah, it's interesting you talk about hitting it too straight. I literally sent a text to my coach this morning about that, because I actually think I'm too close to zero path. Like, I'm too zeroed out, and you can hit, like, I almost got like a pull and a push on the go right now, and it's like they're not massive, but like when you've got 4-inch rough around the greens and you've got a 7-iron from 190, like, it doesn't take much to just kind of wipe it off in a weird spot, and now you got to get up and down from somewhere that's no good. And
of course.
Like, yeah, so that's interesting.
That's another thing, like the players, certainly PGA Tour, it's a bit of a difference I've seen between PGA Tour and in Europe. Short game are so good in the States, so good. Like, the amount of times players can get it up and down from spots that I would think would dead is unreal, really. And I don't know the reason for that. I don't know if it's more practice, is more maybe, I don't know if there's less technical work on it. It's more just all about feel over here. And yeah, that's one thing that's been noticeable. This short game is so good. And that obviously goes right the way through the game, and players can be more aggressive to certain flags then, because like we were saying, you can't miss it in certain spots. But if you don't really have a bad spot to miss it, because you know you can get it up and down, you can be more aggressive, and your average in hitting, your proximity might close in a little bit, and you're hitting it closer on average, you're going to make more putts. And again, that just adds up over the course of a tour.
It's kind of what Padraig talked about on your podcast, actually, back in the day, whenever he was talking about the box grooves, whenever you had him on. It's kind of the same thing that he talked about, that he used to be able to just hit it anywhere because he didn't care because his short game was so good. And when the box grooves went away, it kind of changed that a little bit for him.
Amazing that, isn't it? Like, I'd forgotten about that, but what a difference that made. Certainly when Patrick was talking about that, I never, because I can't remember how old I was when that rule came in. I can't ever remember thinking, wow, this is massively different. But obviously it's at the level, isn't it? You notice it at a level because the margins, he won't get it up and down one less time in a round. It almost goes unnoticed, but again, it adds up. It's amazing at how these little things at the top level can make so much difference. Like, it's like a sprinter trying to find an extra hundredth of a second, isn't it? It's the same in golf. It's trying to find that tenth of a shot per round, adds up over the course of the season.
Yeah, I know. So I've been working a lot with the Aim Point boys, and Mark Sweeney was talking about even one less 3-putt per round ends up being like half a shot per round over the course of a season. Like, that's half a shot scoring average is massive. Like, if you can go from, let's say you have one 3-putt a round and you go to now every other round, it's like half a shot on scoring average right there. Like, it doesn't really feel like it, but it's insane.
There is a stat on tour. I can't pull it out of the top of my head, but it's something like half a shot. The difference in money was like over $1 million difference in money. If you had that half a shot better stroke average, like, it was insane amount. Again, unnoticeable if you were watching the golf in around. You're watching around the golf. It's unnoticeable. The course of a season, when you look at the stats at the end and you go, right, I've improved by half a shot, that's added up to me finishing in the playoff position, and you've earned $10 million in the season. Season before, you're half a shot more, you've earned less than $1 million. It can literally make that difference.
So week to week, how much does Paul use, and how much do you guys use your, like, let's say, strokes gained approach data to govern practice? Like, for me, for example, I've been losing like 3/4 of a shot from 75 to 140 yards, which is a terrible spot to be losing that much, right? I'm losing like a stroke overall in my approach, but like I'm losing a massive amount in that distance. So I've changed my practice, accordingly. How much is it week to week, or is it kind of, month to month? How does he figure out what to actually practice?
Yeah, you know what? We're not massively. I look at the stats, but Paul does not look at the stats really at all. I look at the stats. His coach will look at the stats a little bit more, and he will tailor that when he goes back to the UK, because he lives in Dubai now. So when he goes back to the UK, he'll spend time with his coach Graham Walker, and they'll go over some of the bits in terms of stats, and they will have like day sessions working on things they want to improve. It's always the same with Paul. It's always the same. It's always maintain the challenges with the pitch shots from 60 to 105, hitting them within 2-3 yards of the number that he's trying to hit. And he'll do that kind of randomized. So he'll hit let's say 60 to 105 every 5 yards. He'll hit an 80-yard shot. He has to get it within, depends on how harsh he's been in terms of the test. When he does it with Graham, he'll do it within 2 yards. So he needs to be within 2 yards under or over average.
Oh, that's insane.
And then in between, so he'll hit an 80-yard shot, then he'll hit a full 7-iron just to get out of just hitting pitch shots. And then he'll go back and then he'll hit a random again. It might be 100, same thing. And then he might hit a full 4-iron in between, because I think that's a big thing in your practice. It's so easy to go, certainly if you were like practicing your pitching and going, right, I need to get better at this, and just hit pitch, start pitching it great, come to it a full shot, and you don't know what you're doing because it's you've made these pitch movements all afternoon, and you come to it a full shot, and your golf swing just feels like your arms are connected to someone else. So that's more of Paul's practice, and it's more maintenance, things that he knows he needs to be good at. It's more course to course as opposed to his own performance, because that rarely changes really. It's more in terms of strokes gained and stuff, he's always around the same sort of level. So it depends more on the golf course. So if a golf course you can have more shots from between 150 and 190, he'll work on those a little bit more. Or if a golf course is going to be more wedge shots, then he'll hit more wedge shots. It's more tailored towards the golf course and the week rather than any sort of glaring things in his game, because he's been doing it so long. It's not often that there's the glaring faults there, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, that makes total sense. 2 yards is nuts because I literally just played this event and I was talking to my caddy about it, and I think in one round I missed my number like 6 times by like 5 yards, and all of those times I like was just about screwed. Like I think I made a par like 2 or 3 of them, and it's like they're not even bad shots. They're well struck shots. They're decent, but you miss your number on these tucked pins. These pins are similar to what you guys have, 3 or 4 off the edge, 2 off the edge, whatever. And it's amazing how good I'm learning you have to be with hitting your number. Like you have to be insane.
Oh yeah. Well, it comes to that then, and then it goes to if you've got a pin at 100, say you've got a pin at 120, and you've only got 4 yards over the back, and it's 3 off the left, and anything long is your number isn't then 120. Your number is then right. We're trying to hit this between. Let's say we're trying to hit it between 116 and 118. That's our number. We're not going more. The number is between. Total would be between 115 and 120. It's not going to be 120 because then we're bringing either 120 or 125. The gap becomes that big. You can't aim to hit that number so much. You've got to hit it the side that you want to sort of play. So, if you're trying to hit it on a top level, if you're really into your numbers and you feel like you're right on it, a 120 shot, pins at 120, we know we cannot go past it. We'll be trying to hit it between 115 and 118. And if it's the long side of it, it's good. And if it's not, we're still safe. We've got a good putt out. We're going to have a 10, 12 footer. Again, that's down to decision making again, though. It's the same thing. It's the same thing we spoke about before. It's making those good decisions because, like you say, if you miss something by 5 yards it's from 120-ish, it's not a terrible shot. It's not a terrible shot. But if it's the wrong 5 yards, if it's the wrong side of it,
yeah.
But if you miss it by 5 yards underneath, or because you're aiming between, it all depends on level, right? But if you're aiming hitting it between that 115 and 120, and 120 is your max, you're always going to give yourself a chance if that's your level. And it's something that amateurs can take a lot out of, because that can change. Then that can be okay. That 120, we know we cannot go past that, and the pin's at the back. There's loads of green short of it. So you go, okay, well, if you were trying to hit it between 105 and 115, amateurs are going to play a lot better golf and put themselves in a lot less trouble if they were trying to hit that shot 110 rather than trying to hit it 120 and overhitting it. Or likewise, if it's a front pin and it's the 120 front and short is dead, trying to hit it 120, the underhit it and it's off the green. Trying to hit it between that 125 and 135 and it's fine. You're going to have a putt. That decision making is massive. I mean, I guess that's all part of my job, is knowing those greens and knowing where you are actually trying to hit it, because quite often it's not where the flag is. It's giving you 8 feet right of it or 8 feet underneath it or putting from the right side. That's where all the prep comes in that you've done on the greens and knowing where you're trying to.
Yeah, I mean, how much of it, I guess, too, is being like, okay, there's a slope here, and so we're trying to either, be putting from this sort of spot, or we're trying to be putting from this kind of a spot. Like, those are all things I was never even thinking about until very recently, where I'm like, oh, like, you need to be hitting it sort of different numbers, and you need to be hitting it in kind of different spots. So I assume at your guys' level, like, there's a lot that goes into that, I would assume.
There is, yeah, it's the right. So it's I mean, quite often anything sort of like a past hole will be a straight downhill putt, and it's going to be more difficult to hold than if you're slightly underneath it. And it comes into definitely comes into play when you're trying to make decisions. I mean, a lot of the time, if it's inside that sort of one, if it is inside, if it's a wedge and in, you're trying to hit it close. You're trying to hit it as close as you can, really, even if it is 3 feet past and you're going to be putting downhill, but you're trying to hit it as close as possible. But it'll always be favouring a side. If a pin's 3 off the left and we go, right, well, we're going to try and hit a yard right of it. I know it sounds very little, but that's pretty much what we try and. We have a little bit of a formula to it. So depending on the distance that the shot is, we have a kind of yardage miss. So if it's sort of, I'm trying to pick a good number so that my maths is okay, but if you've got like a 150 shot, generally speaking, 10%, yeah, 10% of that would be, it's 7.5. So we go like 3.5 either side. If a pin is 4 off the left from 150, we know we can pretty much go at the pin, but he doesn't, hopefully, touch wood, he doesn't miss it by more than 4 yards line wide.
Yeah.
And it's the same sort of situation. If it's dead left, you can sort of be a little bit more cautious and go a yard right, and then he can make a confident golf swing, knowing that the stats are there. He knows he doesn't miss it by that hardly ever, so he can be aggressive to the target he's picked, which might be a yard right of the pin. Might pull it, it might go close. That's part of the game as well. It's not a game of absolutes. It does change. It's all so many little things that go into making good decisions, but that's all information based. Is backed up by fact that they're the shots that someone hits, and again, that will change player to player. Like myself, I don't play anywhere near as much as I used. I still play as I play all the time, and I'll go at targets that maybe I shouldn't do, and I should alter it. But again, that's an ego thing. I don't want to alter it. I want to go at the flag. But I should be thinking. You miss a target from 150 back. I don't want to say how many yards. Probably missed it by 20 yards now, so I'll be aiming right edge of the green if it's a left pin. But you should start to think a little bit more about where your game is at. It's the same thing. It's the same thing as if you're not quite at it, targets become a little bit more conservative. We don't take as much on, and that's the same thing certainly with Paul. If he's not on it in the day, or if he doesn't feel like he's quite got the speed, we'll hit a longer club, hit a longer number, be more conservative because doesn't quite have the control on that day, and that's part of the skill really of the top level of picking good targets relative to where you feel like your game is at, and that's why the best players, when they don't play well, they still come out and they still shoot a number that's respectable, that's going to keep them in a golf tournament. They'll rarely go out and blow themselves out of it. They'll still shoot a couple under even on days when they're struggling because they make decisions at the right time and they know they can't miss it in a certain point and they don't feel like they've quite got it. They will be conservative.
Yeah, and I think there's a lot of value in that for anybody listening out there. Now, one of the things I'm curious, and maybe you struggle with this, and maybe you didn't because you've grown up over in England, but for me, taking spin off and taking numbers off, how difficult was it for you to learn that? Obviously, I assume Paul's unreal at it. Are you pretty unreal at it as well? Like, I have a hard time, let's say, for example, my 8-iron flies 170, right? Like 168. I need to hit this thing 150, and it needs to have through the wind, spin off it. Like, I have a really hard time getting start line right and getting it to be the correct number. I mean, was that difficult for you to learn? Do you have a hard time with that? Is it just me?
I was better when I was young. I think it become more difficult for me almost like the more that I knew and the more that I looked at golf swing and the more that I analysed what I did rather than just being a little bit more flow and natural with it, because I think a lot of it is rhythm with that. With taking spin off, rhythm plays a massive part. And then when I started looking at my golf swing, I knew I had faults and I was aware of them. And then when I'm trying to make a shorter swing, I had lost control of the golf ball because technically it wasn't good enough and I knew it wasn't good enough. So then confidence-wise and sort of mentally, I just didn't play the golf shots. For me, I launch it dead high. So for me, I always had to hit an extra club and take a little bit off it. But yeah, I would completely agree with you that I would struggle with that. And I went to start and playing a little bit more extreme shapes with that. So it'd be, if I had to take a bit off it, I would try and like hit a more of a squeezy cut, let's say, because it's just something I felt like, contrary to what a lot of people would think with hitting a cut, but I could keep it down and launch it better that way rather than trying to just take something off. I think to take something off a golf shot, technically you've got to be very, very good. I think your golf swing's got to be in really good positions. I don't think you can get away with much in terms of bad technique if you're trying to take numbers off a club and bring flight down and control the spin. I think technically it's massive. Backswing position is, I would put as massive in terms of taking numbers. If you get the club in a wrong position in a backswing where you're trying to a shorter shot, I don't think you can rescue it. I think when you're making a full shot, you can get away with it and you can kind of compensate a little bit more. But I would.
Literally what I've been saying. Like, so, like, my coach and I have been fighting, not fighting, but, like, we've been going back and forth on, like, he wants to strengthen my club face a little bit, because, you know, in a full swing, I feel like I can maybe chase it a little bit and kind of get away with it, but, like, whenever I'm trying to hit, say, a pitching wedge 115 yards, the thing's just coming out, like, straight right sometimes, and it's just because the face is open and you kind of can't get away with it.
Yeah, I think it's massive. I think if anyone could work on something, backswing position is huge. The club's got to be coming from the right place, otherwise you're just fighting a battle to time it and relying on timing. You're not going to be able to do that consistently.
Makes sense.
As I found.
Want to be conscious, want to be super conscious of your time here. So as we're looking to kind of wrap up, speed has been a big topic on the show. I know you did your winter lockdown of speed. You know, how important do you think speed is to the highest level? Been said that it's not super important once you get above like 170, but then I played with a guy who hits at 185 and I'm like a 168, 170 guy, and it's a big difference. So I'm kind of curious your take on speed and the importance of it, at the highest level, if you see a big difference in speed in DP World versus PGA as well.
It's a big advantage. There's no doubt. If you've got speed and you've got the golf ball under control, it's obviously a massive advantage. But I think it depends what your strengths are. You know, I feel like speed's a huge thing if you take advantage, obviously, and you've got the ball under control and you're hitting shorter irons. And if you're good with your short irons, you're obviously going to be unreal at golf. You know, you look at Rory. There's golf courses we've played this year where we've looked at it, and fairways are just so much wider because where the traps are at. And it's the same this week, actually. This week in Detroit, there's bunkers that are sort of 315-ish to carry. Now, most of the field aren't getting over that, but if you can cover those, the fairways play so much wider. So, yeah, it's big for some golf courses, and some golf courses it's not. That's why you'll see different winners every week, because sometimes it suits a longer hitter, and sometimes it suits the better iron players or the better putters or the better short game because they're tricked up green. Obviously, you'd rather have speed than not, but like you say, if you've got a certain level, I would prefer to have everything in my game. I prefer to be an 8 out of 10 rather than speed being 10 out of 10 and the rest being 6 and 7s, if that makes sense. I think it is a huge deal. It is a massive advantage, but you look at the best player in the world at the moment, Scotty Scheffler, and 175 ball speed, around that. But still seems to hit it a long way. I think efficiency is big. Ball flight efficiency is a really big thing, more so than speed. Consistently hitting out the middle of the club, the right spin numbers, the trajectory. They're the biggest things, I think, is having that efficiency rather than being able to be 190 ball speed. But look, it's no denying that it's such a big deal, and that's why I went trying to find a little bit more speed. But like I say, you've got to have it under control in the first place, really. I'd rather be hitting it at 170 and hitting more fairways than hitting it at 185 and spraying it a bit.
Yeah.
It's pretty obvious. I mean, and there's nothing new there. And what I'm like, when you say between PGA Tour and DP World Tour, I think a lot more on PGA is built longer golf courses. We played a lot more golf courses where the courses are massive. I mean, trying to think, in Canada last week or 2 weeks ago, I think there were 4 par 4s over 500 yards. Now, for that, you've got to be hitting driver good, because if you miss it and you don't hit it long, you're not going to be in a position where you can hit the green. Now, if you hit it miles, if you hit it 190, you can afford to miss it because you're going to be close to the green and you can still reach. So, yeah, that's a big advantage. But back to like Europe, there's more golf courses that were like a Valderrama, where it's maybe playing at 6,900 yards and 6 under would win the tournament, because it distance literally goes out the window. It's all about controlling your golf ball and hitting it in the right spot. So it's much about the golf courses that suit, and I feel like more so in the States it would suit hitting it longer, and in Europe generally it's not as important. It's obviously a big advantage, but it's not as important as it would be in the States, I think.
Yeah.
That was a long way to say that, wasn't it? I feel like I've just spent about half an hour to get around to that point now.
No,
Like
I think
rambling
that's a
on.
fair point, because we kind of had, we have 5 or 6 things that have been recurring themes on the show, and 180 mile an hour ball speed was one of them, and then it kind of got dispelled. Lag putting was another one. Mental has like branched off into this whole entire thing, depending on who it is you talk to and whatever else. But obviously the importance of the mental side of the game is everything. And then one of the last interesting ones comes from the Aim Point Boys, which is the amount of in positions you have per round. So their sort of formula is, you need to hit it inside 20 feet 8 times a round. You need to basically hit, I think, 12 to 14 greens and have 60% scrambling, and then you can pretty much play anywhere in the world. Like, that's their kind of formula, so to speak.
Yeah, I think when you say about the mental game as well, yeah, that is obviously massive, the mental game.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people will try and put that in one certain thing. Oh, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. It's totally different for every player. It's like, I feel like, and Lee Crumble might have covered this, trying to teach someone a mental game. Yeah, there's basics, obviously, that you can work with, but when it comes down to individual, you might tell, because Paul works with Lee Crumble, I mean, he will speak to Paul in a completely different way than he would speak to Matt Baldwin, who's one of our friends that he works with as well. And it would be a complete different thing. It wouldn't necessarily be, this is how you should approach this situation. It's all on the person. It's like a golf swing. No one has the same brain. It's literally finding out what works for you. Having that being able to be applied on the golf course, rather than just going, right, well, this is the blanket situation. This is how I should be thinking. Because I was like that when I played. I was like, well, I should be doing this. I should be flat calm. I shouldn't be doing anything. And inside, I'd just be like an absolute mess, because it just wasn't me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You've got to be yourself. I mean, one of the most impressive players I've ever seen, and talking about efficiency in the golf, was Tyrrell. He is unbelievable.
I knew you were going to say Tyrrell.
Unbelievable. What a player. Like, everything he does, he's like 8 or 9 out of 10. It's not like ridiculously, oh my God, but it adds up. And he certainly doesn't hide away from being himself on the golf course.
How sneaky good is his chipping?
Oh, ridiculous. Mate, his short game is a joke, but his driving as well. His driving's so good.
Yeah.
Again, not like stupid long, but just the perfect combination of everything that he has. Unreal. I would say he's probably one of the best that I've seen that Paul's played with. Definitely.
Yeah. His game has always really impressed me. It's a sneaky game that he's got.
He's entertaining as well. Very entertaining.
Yeah. But no, Lee did talk about that in terms of like ideal arousal states, and the more I have these conversations, it turns into like there's not one way to specify what's the difference. It's almost like you have to figure out what's the difference for you. And
yeah, absolutely.
That's a much tougher answer than the one that I sought to find originally.
Yeah, I'm still searching, mate. I'll find the answer at some point. When I find it, I'll let you know. But I'm still
Yeah,
looking.
call me, will you?
So the thing
Of
is, just
course.
lose the plot on the golf course. Spend all your time on the range trying to find the secret. That's it. That's what we're doing.
All right, so I think that's got to be the plan.
That's going to be the plan. Yeah, everything we just spoke about. Scrap that. There's a secret out there. Someone find it and let me know what it is.
Exactly. Ring light has a mind of its own here. So as we're kind of wrapping up, wanted to thank you for taking the time to come out today, man. And want to
Anytime.
give you a chance to plug anything you want, and if not, we'll go ahead and shut it down.
I don't think I've got anything really to plug. I've just got now. I mean, I'm not sponsored by Dasani, but I've got about 15 bottles of that.
Shout out to Sani.
I've got nothing, mate. I've got nothing.
All right. Well, Al, appreciate it. Thanks for coming on, my man.
No worries, AJ. Good to speak to you.
Thanks. Yeah, you too. You too.
Take it